A warm welcome to Veranda CA. Let us continue with the rest of the revision of our chapter number 5. So we've seen virtualization. We're moving on to the next emerging technology, grid computing. What is a grid computing? So if I'm giving you a task, a complicated task, say for example, do a research analysis to find out how hydroelectricity could be used predominantly and we could do away with coal energy. Okay, if I'm giving you a tough research topic, you cannot sit at your house with your laptop and do the research work or building in software tools, analyzing huge amounts of data. What you're going to do is you're going to need a very high computational power. In that case, a single machine is going to cost about 10 lakhs rupees. Yeah. So do you have that initial investment to invest without knowing the result of the research? One is scared to invest a high amount in the initial acquisition. So in that case, what happens is there are idle computers around, say your neighbors, okay, say your friends, family, they all have computer powers that are lying idle. Okay, they use it for their office hours, 6 to 7 hours, and after that it is idle. So you can request them to get the access to their computer so that you can make your computer into a superpower computer and use the idle resources of the other computers. So this networking is known as grid computing, using other computers' idle resources such as processing power or storage space. Clear? So sharing of storage and power resources of idle computers. Distributed computing. Grid computing is also known as distributed computing. Okay, there are nodes and servers. They are connected to each other via the internet. High throughput at low cost. So at a very negligible amount of investment, I'm getting a very, very high computing power. Otherwise, I would have had to spend lakhs and lakhs on getting a supercomputer built. Highly collaborative in nature. Highly collaborative. People can collaborate and work together. Now, the first question would be benefits of grid computing. Benefits of grid computing, your code word is 4 points on resources and MRP. 3 points on MRP. 4 points on resources. Making use of underutilized resources, which means making use of idle resources. Resource balancing. Resource balancing, I am going to balance the computational power of one system with another system in the grid. I am trying to balance out the resources. Virtual resources and additional resources. This means that I have access. So for example, for doing that research, I need some special software. Right? Instead of getting those software license, which also comes at a cost, I can use it if it's available on my one of the computers in the grid computer. So I can use the additional resources available in one computer and all other computers. For example, just imagine, for you to understand, in case you require Photoshop, but that is not there in your computer, you can use it if you're connected via the grid computing model. If it's in your friend's computer, you can still use Photoshop. Right? Virtual resources are available using the virtualization method. Management of priorities. Okay, in case there is some maintenance activities to be done on one of the computers, the work can still go on. The show goes on because grid computing, you can manage, you can prioritize your activities. The one computer can be given for maintenance while the other computers can still be operational. Reliability. Because of so many systems connected in a grid, there is very, very low chance of the system failing, because even if one system fails, the other system will replace the work of that system. Clear? Parallel CPU capacity, MRP, management of priorities, reliability and parallel CPU capacity. Parallel CPU capacity. It helps me in getting computational power. Clear? Benefits of grid computing. Next question number 2 will be types of resources under grid computing. The types of resources, now here the code word is C square S cube or C2S3. C2S3. Computation, the grid helps me in providing a lot of computational power. Types of resources used in the grid. One is computation. Second is communication. There needs to be established proper communication among the computers connected in the grid computing model. There needs to be good communication method which is placed. Storage. Okay, data storage needs to be very high, and I get a high data storage because so many computers give me their storage capabilities. Now this is known as a data grid, where I can see what is the storage on the entire grid network. software and license, S cube, storage, software and license, and special equipment. So in case I need a software, like we discussed earlier, I can use it if it's there on another system as well. Special equipment, in case I need additional resources for doing my activities, okay, I can install it through the entire network, special equipment. So types of resources is your question number 2. Question number 3 is on applications of grid computing. Now under the applications of grid computing, which are the industries that are using the grid computing model? Okay, there could be a lot more, but your answer is restricted to civil engineers, insurance companies, e-commerce companies, science and engineering, research, film industry, gaming, and the financial industry. Now, if you see, these are the industries that require work of some experts, okay, and that has multiple components in their work. So in such a case, it is beneficial for them to use the grid. Agreed? Grid computing security, this has been an exam question. It's an important question. Grid computing security. Now under this, the code word is security, 4 points on security, points on management plus EIS. Okay, so points on security, secured single sign-on, which means that I have to connect to so many domains because there are so many computers connected in a grid network. So in order to connect to so many domains, if I have to continuously enter my user ID password, then it becomes a very tedious exercise, okay? It could irritate someone. So in that case, Grid Pro offers a secured single sign-on. If I just sign in once, I will be able to access the multiple domains that are available on the grid. Secure group communication. In a grid, there are so many nodes interacting with each other. So the group communication that happens, the transfer of files, needs to be very secured. Protection of credentials. Again, the password management, protection of credentials or the information that is going confidential, you have to protect it. Multiple implementations in a grid. So it is possible to have multiple points of implementation when it comes to grid. Management, resource management and data management. Manage your resources in an effective way, in a way that helps you reduce the cost, and data management. Exportability, interoperability and standardization. Exportability, I can export the files, I can send it to different places. Interoperability, I can move from one type of a computational power or one kind of an operating system to an other kind of an operating system using the grid. Standardization of work. Done with grid computing. Those were the important questions in grid. So this is how the mobile computing works. Mobile computing is nothing but computing through using your mobile phones, okay? By using wireless handheld devices. So this is the communication path of a mobile computer. Clear? Yes. Let's move on to the next thing, the components of mobile computing. Hardware, mobile software and mobile communication. Mobile hardware, the software which is there, the OS, the application software which is there, and the route through which the communication flow happens. So 3 components in mobile computing. The benefits of mobile computing is for this answer you have to remember all the points relating to work from home. So if you think of work from home, what are the benefits you can think of? It saves the travel time, yeah, reduces travel time, work from anywhere, everywhere. Productivity is enhanced, you have more time to yourself, you save on the travel time. Improved services to your customers, increase information flow. Yeah, a lot of companies made good use of this work from home period that we had, and they in fact realized that the employees are performing better. Increased information flow, excellent communication because it helps you in sending the files, in discussing the files. Remote access to all work related information. So I could have access to my knowledge management software, I can have and I can use it for my work. So remote access to all work related information. Now these are the benefits of mobile computing. You have to remember all about the benefits of work from home. Moving on, boys and girls, is the limitations of mobile computing. Now under this, just imagine the limitations of using a mobile phone. What are the limitations? We could have weak signal, Yeah, sometimes the voice there's some disturbance in the voice. Sometimes people say that you should not keep the phone next to you, it could cause health hazards. And then there could be signal deficiency, there could be data which I'm not able to send, there could be Excel file on my mobile phone which I'm not able to work on that file. So limitations of mobile computing, imagine it to be insufficient bandwidth, okay, the speed and amount of data. Security standards, someone goes and finds out your PIN. Power consumption, transmission interference, which means some signal disturbances, health hazards, human interface with device, means it is hard to use a few applications on your mobile like Excel. Clear? Next, what is cloud computing? Okay, a definite question from this topic, what is cloud computing? Now, if you imagine earlier, say Reliance, okay, Reliance wanted to have some operations for which they had many computer systems, and these computer systems had to be handled by a server. Then Reliance realized that the demand for its product is exponentially increasing in the market. So in Mumbai, they had to take some additional space for the server. So they built an entire additional server with an extra floor on the top, an extra office floor on the top. Okay. Then they realized that still the demand is coming even from North India, even from East India, West India. So they had to build an additional server. But it is Mumbai that we're talking about. They did not have any space for the additional server. They could not buy out any space for the additional server. Okay. So how much more can they load this server? So then they went to the management and said, we definitely need an additional server because we have so many computers. This server will not be able to manage these computers. So they asked the management, when your product was supposed to be so good, then why didn't you take a very huge server space in the beginning itself? So the management said, that is ridiculous. How can I afford such a huge server space without knowing how the customer is going to respond to my product? And initially, having the operations limited, how can I have an unlimited server space? How can I have an unlimited server space? That's not practically possible. It requires maintenance. It requires people to take care of the server. It requires hot storage, warm sites, cold sites, yeah, to maintain a server. So maintaining of server is not an ordinary affair. It's an expensive affair, right? So now here, this was happening in India, and Amazon said, don't worry while I'm here. No fear while I'm here. So I have the capacity, I have the space to build a very big server. And in this server, I am ready to rent out this space for your operations. I can rent this space out to you. And you do not have to take care of any infrastructure, any management, any hardware, software, storage, communication, network devices. I will provide you all of that. All you need to do is have an internet connectivity. That can help you access this space on my server. Okay. So Reliance said, wonderful. Let us do that. Let us access the server space which is there, because now I am relieved of handling my server cost, my headache of managing the entire server. Okay, so now this is possible through the cloud. Okay, so this is known as the cloud server, which gives its space to multiple companies. Okay, it can give some space to Tata, it can give some space to Adani's, it can give, yeah, some space to Hindustan Unilever. So it can give spaces on the on its web server, and in case it wants, it can also increase the server. Okay, in case the demand is high, Amazon also has the capabilities to increase the server storage. So Amazon is specialized into handling and maintaining of software. Clear? So in that case, this is known as cloud computing. Okay, this is known as cloud computing. Now the characteristics of cloud computing, very important question. The keyword here is empower. M for multi-tenancy. Amazon AWS can give its cloud to Tata, to Birla, to Reliance, yeah, they can give it to many. So, one to many, multi-tenancy. One server can be used by multiple people. Pay per use, okay. Reliance has to pay only for the component of the server that they are using, and in case their demand tomorrow increases, they want more server space, they can pay a little more and take more server space from Amazon. Pay per use, pay on demand. Pay per use, pay on demand. W4, workload movement. Workload movement means I can, in the case of a failure, okay, what happens is it is very easy to shift the components or start another physical facility so that the work of Reliance is always continuing, moving on. Okay, so if something happens to the Amazon server, it will move the component of Reliance to another physical storage, another physical server, and Reliance will not even get to know about it. Clear? So workload movement is very easy. Elasticity and scalability. If I want more space, I pay more and take. And resilience. Resilience is the same as workload movement. Clear? Empower characteristics. Next question is advantages of cloud computing. I need to achieve the economies of scale. Yeah, many points on cost. Reduce the cost. Reduce cost on tech infrastructure. I do not need to build a tech infrastructure. Please note, advantages are different from characteristics. For characteristics, the keyword is empower. For advantages, it is reduction in cost, points on reduction in cost. Globalize the workforce. Streamline business processes. All my processes can be streamlined. Easy access to information and application. Pervasive accessibility. I can access the information anytime, anywhere. Backup and recovery is also provided by the cloud service models. Okay, monitor projects more effectively. Monitor multiple projects that a company may have more effectively. Less personal training is required. Minimize maintenance and licensing software. Okay, I do not have to worry about maintaining my entire server or getting the necessary license for having softwares, applications. Load balancing. Load balancing. Next is improved flexibility. Clear? So, because of having work in a cloud model, the learning curve of the employees is very high. They do not have to learn the work that is not necessary for the core business of the organization. Now, the drawbacks of cloud computing. Number one, internet is mandatory. Without internet, you cannot connect to your cloud model. Security is an issue because sometimes the information is not under your control. It is under the control of the service provider. So, in that case, it is possible, and information is traveling, right? It is possible for someone to intercept and change the information. No control on resources. So, when I have my information on the cloud, it is not in my direct control, okay? It is in the control of the cloud service provider. So, I have to be dependent on him. Vendor dependence, no control on resources. Interoperability, which means sometimes that I want to change from private cloud to public cloud, okay? And how these applications are going to work with each other, that could be a question mark. So, few drawbacks on cloud computing. Okay, now we're going to study about a few cloud computing models like private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud, and community cloud. And there are questions from this area in the exam. Okay, so the meaning of a private cloud is something that the enterprise builds for its own private use. It is called as internal cloud, corporate cloud. Okay, it can be managed by the enterprise or can be outsourced to another person. Now, the characteristics of a cloud, private cloud, obviously it's very secure because the data is in my control, is in my premises. It is centrally controlled by the organization. Weak SLA, weak service level agreement, because service level agreement is an agreement that you have terms and conditions. Okay, imagine the private cloud means it is by the organization. So, it's like an agreement between the organization and the organization. So, in that case, the agreement is not going to be very strong. Okay, they're not going to define things properly. Advantages: improve server utilization, high level of security. Limitations: weak SLA and high cost of maintenance. Weak SLA is a limitation, high cost of maintenance. Next, moving to the public cloud model. Cloud that is for open use by the public, for example, Amazon. Owned, managed and operated by a third party vendor, AWS, Amazon Web Services. Pay per use basis. It is on pay per use. It is also known as provider clouds. The characteristics of a public cloud, important question. It is highly scalable. Highly scalable. Tomorrow I want most of the space in your cloud. Okay, pay and take it. Highly scalable. It is affordable. I do not have to invest much on the initial infrastructure or training people or maintenance. Less secure because the data is there, not here with me. Highly available, always available. Strict SLAs because it is with a third party, the terms and conditions between the parties are very strict. Advantages, it comes at a low cost, highly scalable. From the characteristics, you can pull out the advantages. No or low infrastructure costs can be integrated with private clouds. It is also possible to integrate public and private clouds. It is known as interoperability. Strict SLA, no limit on number of users, multi-tenancy. Limitations, security issues, no control over data. Hybrid cloud is a model where your public cloud and private cloud both are used. Public and private both are used for your tasks. Okay, cloud that is a combination of private and public cloud. The characteristics are that it is scalable because what you can do is you can have a private cloud and whatever components you want to scale, put it in the public cloud. Partially secured. The information that is there in your private cloud is secured. The one which is on public is not as secured. Stringent SLAs. Okay, service level agreements are very strict. Complex cloud management. Okay, because I have to ensure the connectivity or the interoperability between the applications that are there on either of the cloud. Advantages, highly scalable, better security than public cloud. Better security than public cloud, not private. Clear? Limitations, complex to manage. Security is not good as in the private cloud. Security is not as good as in the private cloud. Okay. Community cloud, meaning community cloud is a cloud that is used by a group of organization or a group of individuals having the common interest. For example, few universities come together for a particular research. Yeah, all that they can upload on the community cloud so that the other people do not have access to that. Now, this can be managed by the organizations together or outsources to a third person, or one of the organizations can take the lead role and manage this. Cloud that is provisioned for exclusive use by a specific group of people. It is a private cloud shared by many organizations. Characteristics, it is highly collaborative and distributive maintenance. The maintenance can be distributed. It is partially secure and cost effective. Now, the advantages is that low cost private cloud. It is a low cost private cloud. It is similar to a private cloud but a low cost private cloud because the cost is shared. Collaborative work is possible. Sharing of responsibilities, better security. Limitations, autonomy is lost of data. So, this data is not under my control. It is with the entire organization, entire group of people. Security is not as good as in the private cloud. Okay. Moving on to the cloud computing service models. Under that, we have three main models: software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Let us look at each one of this. So, if you talk about software as a service, you can imagine to be your WhatsApp, your Instagram, yeah, the softwares that you're downloading on your phone and using, right? Provides ability to access an application. So, when you download Instagram, do you worry about what is the server capacity, what is the storage, how will they send the data from here to there, the networking? Do you worry about all that? No. I just have to go to the Play Store and download the application. No need to manage or control an application. Hosted on the service provider's infrastructure, not on mine, but on the service provider's infrastructure. Clear? So, a few instances of software as a service. Testing as a service, I can have a software specialized in testing. Email as a service, like for example, Gmail or Ymail. API as a service. API, Application Programming Interface as a service. Now, under platform as a service, programming languages gives me programming languages, which means platform as a service is nothing but it provides a platform for me to develop an application. So, it will give me all the database required, all the testing tools required, the programming languages required, building tools that I may require, deployment tools or load balancers. All of these it will provide me so that I just have to write the coding. And my app will be developed. It provides the user with the ability to develop a program. Example, Google App Engine. Infrastructure as a service is the hardware level service, okay? Infrastructure, the entire infrastructure is given out to me. Not just a particular software, not just a particular platform, but the entire infrastructure. I can use their storage capacity, I can use their servers, I can use their communication, I can use their networks, okay? Provides computing resources to the users such as processing power, memory, storage and networks. I'm not using a particular application, I'm using all their infrastructure for the purpose of my organization. Infrastructure resources act as virtual machines. Now, are these server or storage memory, is it there in my office? No, it is still there over there. I'm getting virtual access to those resources. Physical servers are maintained by the service providers. The physical servers or the big servers which are actually there are maintained by the service providers such as AWS or Microsoft Azure. Characteristics of IaaS, very important question, characteristics of IaaS, okay. So, in that my code word is we, tell me how do you travel? We travel by central train, share auto and metro train, okay. So, we, web access to resources, web access to resources. E for web access means I have internet and I can access the resources. E for elasticity and scalability. Elasticity and scalability. Now, as I want, as per the needs of my organization, I can increase this space on the cloud. Elasticity and scalability. We travel by central train. Centralized management. All my resources are taken care of by the service provider. Centralized management. Central train, share auto. Shared resources. I share my resources, which means my storage capacity I share by is with me, and some used by Tata, some used by Reliance, some by Adani. So, everyone gets a share of that resources, shared resources. And metro train. Metered service. I pay by rent, I pay on rent whatever I take. Metered services. Characteristics of IaaS. Clear, guys? Let's move on. Next, we have instances of IaaS. Okay, so few instances of IaaS: network as a service, storage as a service, database as a service, backend as a service, and desktop as a service. Now, the other cloud service models apart from IaaS, PaaS and SaaS, we have communication as a service, data as a service, security as a service and identity as a service. In your chapter 3 controls, identity management, yeah. So, imagine a software or a platform that helps you do that entire identity management for your organization at all levels. Pertinent issues relating to cloud computing. Again, an important question. Pertinent issues relating to cloud computing. Our code word for that is all the big companies. Tata Steel, SBI Bank, HUL, State Bank of India, HUL, Hindustan Unilever. So, Tata Steel, SBI, HUL. Tata Steel, SBI, HUL. Now, T stands for threshold policy. Talks about the service level agreements with the parties. Okay, issues relating to cloud computing. Now, these issues can be resolved, okay, but they are just the issues that you need to watch out for. Now, the SLAs, you need to watch out for all the terms that are there, and there is no standard format for the SLA. It differs from one vendor to another vendor. It could differ from one service to another service. You need to watch out for the terms in the SLA. Security issues, Tata Steel. T for threshold, S for security issues. Risk of malicious insider attacks. SBI, software development in cloud. So, I need a systems development life cycle and security issues when I am developing a software in the cloud. Bugs. It is difficult to remove errors in large scale distributed systems. Very difficult to remove errors. You don't know at what point the error is there. Clear? SBI. I stands for interoperability. Okay, APIs you have to establish over different cloud models to connect some information which is in the private cloud to some storage which is there in the public cloud. Yeah, you need to run APIs. That could be a little complicated. SBI HUL. H for hidden cost, high network charges. So, though it appears at very basic charges for storing your website on the cloud, but there could be other hidden costs, right? Unexpected behavior. Application may perform differently over the cloud. Unexpected behavior. Legal issues. Regulatory requirements, privacy laws, data security laws. Too many regulatory requirements because it is spread over countries. Clear? Very good. Let's move on to the next form of technology, which is green computing. Okay, so green computing is environmentally sustainable computing. The objective is to protect the environment from the harmful effects of the e-waste that is generated. Okay, now the best practice is given under 5 points. Okay, develop a sustainable plan, have the steering committee to decide what are the resources you want to buy, recycle all the components, make environmentally sound purchase decision. Purchase decision should be very wise. Reduce the paper consumption by using alternate means of reporting. Conserve energy by using energy efficient devices. Clear? Next is BYOD. Bring your own devices. Bring your own devices. Okay, what are the advantages of BYOD? So the advantages are 5. 3 are related to employees and 2 are related to cost. So under employees, we have happy employees because the employees are happy to get their own devices to office. They're comfortable with that. Early adoption of new technology, because I have this thing, I want all the softwares to be updated, I want all the new softwares to be installed in my system. Yeah, I take personal responsibility for that. Increased efficiency in my work. With regards to cost, lower IT budget and lower IT support. Lower IT investment and lower IT support. Clear? BYOD advantages. BYOD, emerging threats. Again, an important question. Emerging threats. This is the code word for this. D for device risk, I for implementation risk, A for application risk, and N for network risk. Now, under this, the first line is going to start with the same line. Okay? Exemplified and hidden in. Okay, so for example, device risk. Device risk is exemplified and hidden in dash. Okay, loss of device. Implementation risk, weak BYOD policy. Okay, application risk, application virus and malware, and network risk, lack of device visibility across the network. Clear? So if any software patches I need to update, install, maybe I will miss out your system because it is not connected with the network. Next technology is IoT, Internet of Things. Let us see the IoT applications. All the things smart, okay? IoT, Internet of Things, where things have to communicate or things communicate with each other with the help of an internet without human intervention. For example, if the car has low fuel, then there's a message that comes on the mobile phone that please fill up the fuel, the car is low on fuel. Because there is some kind of connection which is linked between the car's fuel tank to my phone, right? So, and it could be an example of a water filter related to the phone, okay? So, where things communicate with each other without human intervention. So, what are the applications? First is appliances, second is machines, wearables. We have smart watches, smart city, smart grids, smart car, smart health, smart supply chain, industrial IoT, and resource utilization. So, these are the applications of IoT. IoT risks are divided into 4 categories: risk to the product manufacturer, risk to the user, technology risk, and risk to the environment. Risk to the environment. Under the risk to manufacturers, there is some impact on business, data storage and analysis, intentional obsolescence of the products because of IoT. Clear? To user, security and privacy. Technology risk, application development, platform fragmentation, environmental risk because of the heavy earth metals used in these devices. There could be some environmental threats. Now, artificial intelligence, okay? Artificial intelligence, intelligence exhibited by the machines. Ability of the computers to act like humans. You have your chatbots, yeah, you have Alexa, all of them equipped by artificial intelligence device. Then you have machine learning, science and art of programming computers so that they can learn from data, okay? Systems can learn automatically without being explicitly programmed. That is the concept of machine learning. Systems can learn automatically without an explicit program. Clear? Next, we have blockchain technology. Guys, this has been amended in your syllabus, so this is very important. Amended, very important. Blockchain technology, very interesting. Now this is referred to as DTL. You would have heard of blockchain. It is used in cryptocurrency. It is used in many other industries as well. Okay, so it is referred to as DTL, distributed ledger technology. For you to understand what is blockchain technology, just imagine a Google Doc, Google Doc. Okay, so I have a Google Doc and I share it with everyone. So this is a transferred model. I've transferred the file. I've not saved it or downloaded it, and I have not shared it and you had to download it again. Okay, so it is just transferred and now you can make changes to it. You can add on content to it. So blockchain is just like Google Doc, but no one can delete the content. Okay, they can only add to the blockchain list. Referred to as distributed ledger technology. It is a decentralized open ledger with no trusted third parties in between. Every entry made is permanent, as it is an append-only database. Append means add only. Only addition is possible. I cannot edit or delete any data, which is why blockchain is very secure. A simple way to understand is Google Doc. When we create a document and share it with a group of people, the document is distributed. Okay, it is distributed with people. This creates a decentralized distribution chain that gives everyone the access to the document at the same time. So everyone, as in there will be a peer group. Okay, we'll see how the blockchain works. There will be a peer group of people who will have access to adding information in the blockchain. So it's nothing but a blocks linked together with each other. Clear? Now new transaction is entered into the system. The transaction is then transmitted to a network of peer-to-peer computers scattered across the world. This could be scattered across the world. Okay, so they are nothing but the people who are efficient enough to add information or create these blocks. They are programmers who can create additional blocks. This network of computers then solves the equation. Crypto farms solves the equation to confirm the validity of the transactions. Once confirmed to be legitimate transactions, they are clustered together into blocks. They are clustered together into blocks which are linked by chain. The blocks are then chained together, creating a long history of all transactions that are permanent. Long history of all transactions that are permanent. The transaction is complete. Okay, this is the flow of transactions in a blockchain technology. Now the working of a blockchain, a transaction like sending money to someone is initiated. It is broadcasted via the network. The network validates the transaction by solving some codes using cryptography. The transaction is represented online as a block. This block is added to the existing blockchain. Now this transaction is complete. Application areas of blockchain. Financial services helps in maintaining a transaction log because no one can edit. So it helps in maintaining a transactional log of any asset or property. Healthcare, it is very important in healthcare also because healthcare has a lot of middlemen in between, because of which their overhead costs are very high. So how can a blockchain help them? Sharing of data by increasing the privacy, security, and by eliminating the interference of third party and saving overhead costs. Now how does it help the government? Helps in monitoring and auditing the transaction in land registration, vehicle registration, and e-voting. Application areas of blockchain is what we are doing. Next is travel industry. In the travel industry, it helps in storing important documents such as ID card, loyalty points, my Aadhaar. Everything will be added to my block. Now this block no one can edit. This block, so tomorrow if I am going with a fake PAN card, say I change my date of birth, I change something in the PAN card to suit some requirement. So in that case, they will understand that, see, earlier some other PAN card is uploaded. So now this one is a wrong one, right? You understand? Economic forecast helps in planning and forecasting markets, voting, and stock trading. Now risks of blockchain. You remember factors affecting BPA success in our chapter number 1, factors affecting BPA success, CIAT, confidentiality, integrity, availability, timeliness. But in this risks of blockchain, the code word is CIAT, but the points are different. No central authority. stands for information overload. Information overload. I stands for information overload. A stands for your T is technology, dependence on technology, and A stands for risks in blockchain. A, come on. Accountability. Okay. A stands for accountability and responsibility. Because there are no third parties and because it is distributed across the world, you cannot place accountability on a single person. You cannot place accountability on a single person. Clear? Different member of a particular blockchain may have different risk appetite, may lead to conflict while monitoring controls. As no one party is in charge, there is risk of who to hold responsible and accountable during an unfavorable situation. Dependency on underlying technology. If that blockchain technology is not working, then the entire transaction goes for a toss. Absence of central authority. Okay, so because there is no central authority to take care of the Bitcoin, you cannot blame anyone during an unfavorable event. And it is very highly complex to understand the IT controls that needs to be in place during a Bitcoin transaction or a blockchain transactions. Information overload involves humongous data getting uploaded frequently, could challenge the level of monitoring that is required. Hard to find competent people to design and implement the controls. So these are the risks in blockchain. Let us revise again. CIAT. C for central authority. I stands for information overload. A, accountability, and T for technology. T for technology. Clear? Next we have controls in the blockchain technology. You need to have continuous monitoring technique. You cannot monitor at intervals, but you need to have a continuous monitoring technique. Suitable data analytics procedures need to be in place. Communication methods to be developed. Because I am going to communicate with the peer group people, they are going to put in some information and keep it there. I am going to communicate with the data storage. Yep. So in that, the communication method needs to be developed. Thoroughly assess the smart contracts, private keys and protocols. Find out what is the kind of cryptography that is going to be used. Understand the contracts between the people and you. Engage in internal and external auditors so that they can help you through this technology, understanding the ups and downs of the technology. Clear? There is one more amendment in this chapter, which comes, very small amendment, which comes in e-marketing. So under e-marketing, we have portal. Portal is nothing but a website that is the main point of entrance to another website. It gives you the first point of an entrance to another website. For example, if I am reading a blog on, say, babies, okay, blog on babies. Now, that blog on babies will have advertisements around the blog saying that, you know, if you want to buy clothes for babies, go on to First Cry. So I can click there. If you want to buy baby specific cosmetics, then I need to go there. Yeah, body lotion and all of that. So it links, gives me a link to other website. So that is the meaning of portal. E-shop, individual retail shops, for example, Biba or W. Yeah, e-mall, general mall or specialized mall. This is the amendment that they've made. General mall is somewhere where I get from a pin to an aeroplane, everything on that store. Okay, it is a general mall. Example, Flipkart. Specialized mall. Specialized mall where I get only specialized products. For example, say Lenskart or 99 acres, where Lenskart is for specs, 99 acres is for property, right? And then some specialized mall could be, say, Chappan Bhog for sweets, okay, where I get specialized products alone. E-auction, where I can auction the bid and auction the commodities. Buyer aggregator. Aggregators are players who collect a large number of buyers and a large number of sellers on their platform. So they are basically platform providers, and here they provide services to them. Yeah, they connect the buyers and sellers. For example, say Ola Auto, Ola Cabs. Clear? Virtual community, group of people with the same interests coming together and talking about some products. E-procurement. Okay, e-procurement. If I want to buy something, I can go on to a website and buy, for example, factory, the tools that I need. I can go to a website and procure all the tools that are required in the factory. e-procurement. Clear? With that, we come to the end of the quick revision of your chapter number 4.